Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Rio Kevin and I'm here with my partner Abigail Natalia. In this video, we would like to talk about the invasions of Portugal in 1807. So, the French invasions of Portugal in November of 1807 was the first campaign of what would become the Peninsular War. The official reasons for this invasion was Portugal's refusal to enforce the blockade of British trade known as the Continental System, but at the same time it gave Napoleon a chance to infiltrate his army into Spain in preparation for his attack on that country in 1808. So, Portugal in 1807 was ruled by the House of Braganza, which the power was held by Prince João as the Prince Regent for his mother, Queen Maria I. His aim was to preserve Portuguese neutrality, but on August 12th, Napoleon and Carlos IV of Spain demanded that Prince João declare war on Britain and join his fleets to the Franco-Spanish fleet to arrest all British subjects in Portugal and also seize all British goods in the country. Prince João was willing to break off diplomatic relations and to block all trade with Britain, a consensus that might have satisfied Napoleon if his main objective had indeed been the enforcement of the continental system.
At the same time he issued his demands, Napoleon was also gathering his armies on the Spanish borders. The first to be in place was the Corps of Observation of Gironde, 25,000 strong under General Andoche Junot. On 18 October, this army crossed the border into Spain, heading towards Salamanca and the usual invasion route into Portugal, via Almeida and Coimbra. Junot reached Salamanca on 12 November, after a leisurely march across Spain in which his engineers made notes on every post of military significance they passed. A second corps of observation, the Gironde, was put in place at Bayonne, and would itself soon cross into Spain. Napoleon's leisurely timetable was disrupted by a crisis at the Spanish court, which is the affairs of the Escorial of 27 October, which saw Carlos IV arrest his son, Fernando, accuse him of treason, and then pardon him over the course of a frantic week. This encouraged Napoleon that the time was right to depose the Bourbon dynasty of Spain, and so he decided to hire Junot on his claim. On 12 November, Junot received orders to increase his pass and to alter the route of his invasion. Rather than take the road past the fortress of Almeida, Junot was ordered to move south, cross the mountains of Extremadura, and invade Portugal along the line of the Tagus.
This took his army through barren, barely populated areas and along rough mountain roads. By the time the French reached Alcantara on Tagus, 5 days after leaving Ciudad Rodrigo, they had lost half of their horses and all but 6 of their guns, all before meeting any oppositions. At Alcantara, Junot found some Spanish troops whose supplies and munitions he seized before heading west into Portugal. 11 days after leaving Salamanca, on November the 23rd, the first Junot's troops strangled around Arbetis, while the next troops did not arrive until November the 26th. If the Portuguese had put up any sort of resistance, then Junot's rich army would have been in serious trouble around Arbetis, strung out along 4 days of mountain roads and isolated from all assistance, but no Portuguese troops were in sight. Instead, all Junot found at Arbetis was one Portuguese diplomat, which is Barreto, who came with offers of submissions and tribute. This encouraged Junot to make calculated gamble. He gathered together the least disorganized companies from his armies to form 4 impromptu brigades, and at the head of this column of 1,500 men made a dash for Lisbon. On November the 13th, Junot's columns reached Lisbon and occupied the Portuguese capital without meeting any resistance. Over the next few days, his strength reached the city, but it will take much longer for the artillery and the cavalry to arrive.
Junot's success owed everything to the total lack of Portuguese resistance. Prince João and his advisors refused to believe that Napoleon was actually planning an invasion until it was too late to offer effective resistance. A British fleet that appeared off Lisbon only added to the confusion, and for some days, Prince Zhao could not decide whether he should submit to the French or flee the country. Sir Sidney Smith, commander of the British fleet, had one main concern, and so he worked to convince the prince to move to Brazil, where he would be safe from the French. The arrival of a copy of the Paris Moniteur, in which Napoleon announced the disposition of the House of Braganza, helped to make up the prince's mind. And on 29 November, the day before Junot reached the city, Zhao, his mother, and thousands of other officials of Lisbon fled the country. The Spanish army took part in the invasion of Portugal, but they moved much slower than Junot and only arrived after Lisbon had already fallen. The Southern Army entered Portugal on 2 December, while Oporto was not occupied until 13 December. At first, the French met with little opposition. A serious riot broke out on 13 December in Lisbon, but was quickly put down. Junot disbanded the Portuguese army, leaving 6,000 until 7,000 inexperienced men to form the basis of a force that was sent to the Baltic. The French occupation inevitably led to a great deal of discontent, but for the moment the insurgents lacked leaders and direction. It took the outbreak of the Spanish revolt in the spring of 1818 to finally trigger an insurrection in Portugal, and the first British invasion to Portugal to expel the French.